What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to Top 5 Comics February 2025, where I've got myself and then my main man, Heavy D, aka Dolan, aka Drew, here, and we're gonna cover some of our favorite comics from the month of February. How are you, man? How's life treating you?
I'm doing all right. Doing fine. It was been a busy week, and I actually knocked out first draft of another script earlier this evening. Continuing the journey of Naughty and Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I've told that publicly, but yeah, I'm writing Naughty and Nice from Rob Michaels amidst 8 to 10 other books for him. But it's gonna be a great fun wild ride. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about the best comics of the month. There weren't as many as last month.
No, we still have issues counting. I don't think we know what the number. Well, I don't think we know what the number five means, but we're closer to five than we've been in a good while. So we'll take that as a win.
We listen to the people. It's too many, so we cut it down.
Well, if there's good, the whole point of this is to try to highlight good comics. And when we first started doing this, it was just like a subsection of culture popped. And I mean, back then the books just weren't good. So there were months where we struggled to even have five for each of or just five in general, I think. And now, I think things have picked up, things are turning around. We're doing a little bit better in terms of content that's coming out. So we have the opposite problem of trying to narrow it down. But I mean, if we're going to
Josh, we have to be honest. We do have to be honest. It's time to be honest. We got to come clean with why we're cutting down. It's the Doge impact. Elon saw our videos. Says too many. We got to cut down to 10.
We're told. We're told to tighten that up, cinch that belt a little bit.
Yes.
So we're cutting back at least for this week. Or this month. We'll see what happens next month. But I know I asked how you're doing, but how's that time change treating you?
Rough. So here in Indiana, normally it's 8 o'clock this time, but it's after Sunday. It's now 9 o'clock now. So it's spring forward, lose an hour. It's not cool.
I don't like it. I mean, I like having more daylight in the afternoon, but I know likey in terms of my body. My internal clock has still not adjusted yet. So
no, just trying to give it a month for me. It's
Same with my dogs, because I've been getting up, which my alarm goes off at the same time. I get up at 5 a.m. Every morning for work, but 5 a.m. now it's not what 5 a.m. was a week ago. So I'm getting up and my dog is like, bro, what the beep are you doing? Like, lay back down. I'm not waking you up for food. Everything is fine. He doesn't get it. So one quick note before we jump into stuff for tonight. Apologies for not being here last week. We had a storm move through Tuesday morning last week that was supposed to just be a nothing storm. But then we had a lot of straight line winds that took down trees, fences, power lines. My coworker, while driving to work, a metal roof got blown off of a building and hit another truck that was next to him. So it was an interesting day.
That's some Twister level stuff right there. Holy crap.
Yeah. I went a day and a half to 2 days without power, and then I didn't have internet for I think 3 days. So just put me a little bit behind on live stuff, and we just decided to move Top 5 Comics to this week instead. So
here. I know we're in Tornado Alley. Are you guys in Tornado Alley where you're at in East Texas?
I'm at the very base, the very tip of it.
Okay.
But the geography in our area, in the East Texas area, the city that I live in is considered to be in a valley as far as the geography goes. So in my city, we tend to not see a ton of tornadoes, but just outside of us, they're there all the time. So, don't ask me the science of it. I'm just telling you what they say on the news. But before we get into tonight's top 5 comics, our February list, I guess I could say, I think you've got a few things to show off, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I do. Got a few things. One is a world premiere, and another one is some art for some upcoming projects.
For sure. Should we kick things off with this world premiere of yours?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's kick off with this world premiere exclusive trailer event.
Oh, world premiere right here on PBC. World premiere truth. I can't talk. World premiere trailer exclusive event. Someone's gonna clip that. But hey, if I'm not being an idiot, I'm not being me. Anyways,
Yeah, it's going
here,
from here to Friendster to MySpace. It's going to be all over the place.
that's right. MySpace needs to come back. It was the jam.
Yeah, yeah. I miss Tom.
But yeah, this is the an exclusive trailer for Depths of Valor. So enjoy.
In an intriguing blend of history and suspense, we uncover a long-sunken Nazi U-boat off the coast of New Jersey. As experts race to uncover its secrets, an elderly man holds the key to a hidden past, his own life intertwined with this forgotten piece of history. What truths lie beneath the waves, and how will they reshape our understanding of World War II? Join us on a thrilling journey of discovery of the Depths of Valor. Created by Stephen Finkel, written by Dolan and illustrated by Nate Watson. Depths of Valor, only on Kickstarter.
Yeah, buddy. Drew, what do you want to say about Depths of Valor before I say stuff about Depths of Valor?
Depths of Valor is a passion project of Stephen Finkel's. He's had this dream, more or less, of telling this story for the last at least a decade, maybe longer, about a real event that did happen. German U-boat discovered off the coast of New Jersey, 60 miles off the coast. And according to Nazi Party records, it was supposed to have been sunk off the coast of Morocco. How it wound up off the coast of New Jersey, we're going to be getting into that mystery, as well as to this potential survivor, as well as what may or may not have been discovered inside his body that may lead to an even greater mystery aboard that German U-boat. So it's going to be a action-packed, mysterious adventure telling this story, and you're not going to want to miss out on this.
Yeah, I mean, again, I know we've talked about this before, but this is the book that Aaron Sparrow and I had read separately without speaking to one another, and message you saying, "Hey, like, I don't have any notes as far as story, character, or anything like that. I think I had one grammatical note about like, hey, put a comma here or something stupid like that." And we had no notes, and then we both separately said, "I think this is the best thing you've ever done." But it's just really good. It's a good shift away from genre-wise what you typically write and do, and you made that transition pretty easy. I mean, just in general, a lot of what you're doing is very different in terms of genre, but this really kind of sticks out as something unique and different. And I loved the first issue. I'm really excited to see where it's going. And the art's fantastic too, man. Like the art that I keep seeing. And remind me of the artist's name.
Nate Watson.
That's right. Nate does really good work here. And then I love the use of colors in this book as well, especially the darkness. There's a lot of I mean, when you're in the depths of the ocean, but a good play on darkness. So I'm glad people are getting a glimpse of it. And it's just, I think it's exciting. I hope as many people jump onto this as they have your other projects, and then the projects that are still yet to come and yet to be announced. And there's so much in the, I can't keep up with what's actually out and what's not. So
you're telling me it's just I always have to keep checking with Marat. I'm like, is this happening now? Can we talk about this yet? It just, there's so many projects I've done with Marat. I have to be reminded. It's like, oh yeah, I did write that 2 years ago, and it's finally coming out.
Yeah.
But it's just.
No, go ahead.
No, it's just people. I mean, there are a lot of people who say like, "Oh, yeah, I'm doing so much stuff." Like, it may be a little hyperbole, doing maybe a script or two, but no, I literally, this is like Max Landis level shit I'm doing right now. Like different a script a week. It's insane.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot, and I have no idea how you keep up with it. But kudos to you. Keep up the good work. And again, I'm super excited for this to come out. But
You're telling
yeah.
me. Yes.
In addition to the trailer, we've also got some comic art to look at. So I will start with the covers because I think these are pretty awesome. And this one I know we saw a version of, and now I got the full. The one that I showed last time on our show was the artist had taken a picture of the actual cover, and you can see like the desk around it. But we've got this beauty here, which just looks freaking fantastic. So tell us who did this, and maybe who are these characters? Because people probably don't know one of them.
Yeah, this was illustrated by Miko. This done by hand. He showed me the step-by-step process he had done, and it's flipping nuts. So yeah, this is the recluse right there. He's more or less bound up along a column by a character called the Trinacria, who will be showing up in issue 2 of Unholy Nightmare. And the mystery of her and what she's involved with, it's going to get very, very wild and crazy. Just wait.
Yeah, no, indeed. And again, this cover is sick. I got to see pieces of this cover as you were getting images of it partially being finished. So it was like getting puzzled together almost. But it's so stinking good. Like Miko, correct?
Yep, Miko. Yep.
Yeah. So good. So good. Just the shading is freaking bomb. But that is not the only cover here. We have a cover that's inserted by a certain publisher during a certain time period and a certain artist. And I believe that would be this one here.
Yeah. This is my buddy. This is my boy, JC Grande. This guy is insane in the membrane. I had told this guy that I wanted a. He's bear in mind, JC Grande. He's been in the business now for quite some time, but he did a cover earlier for me, which I haven't revealed yet. I'm holding on to that one. But this one I had to show up because I fucking love Stephen Platt. But after he did one cover for me, did another one for another friend of mine, I said, hey man, I gotta have you do another one. It's gotta be a splat homage. It's gonna be a Prophet splat homage. And he said, dude, let's do it. And I showed him that was gonna be homaging, and he went to town on this one, and I couldn't be happier. He nailed it. Essentially here, we got the Recluse, we got Jenny fighting against an undead horde, and in complete homage to Stephen Platt, and he nailed it. And let's just say this is not the first, nor the second, nor the last time we'll be seeing JC Grande on any projects I'm working on. There'll be plenty more.
Oh yeah, I look at this. I mean, I think the homage is very clear. But it's just beautiful work. But I look at this and I'm like, God, I've got a hand cramp just looking at this. Like, all the line work that would have gone into this, especially when you go with those bullets, I know is just a lot. However, I don't think he was the one that was like, I hate you for this. I think it was actually your colorist, because yeah.
Yeah, he's like, damn those damn bullet shells, those bullet casings. Thanks. Yeah, he was pissed by that. But hey, it's like I warned him. It's a Stephen Platt homage. He was like, man, I hate you for it, but man, this is beautiful. Thanks for the opportunity on this. So yeah, Dan loved it. Dan Kemp, longtime Spawn cover color artist, worked at Top Cow. Great colorist, and he did a phenomenal job on this cover. And another gentleman, will not be his first, second, third, or last time we'll be working with him.
Nice. Yeah, no, it looks fantastic. I love it. And we have one more cover to show off that is a bit of a rough cover, or at least in early stages of the cover. And we've got this here.
Yes. So I announced this on Thinking Critical with Wes on YouTube, but a lot of people had said that the Recluse was reminding them of a 90s character called Arachnus. And lo and behold, the colorist of Unholy Nightmare, Gene Jimenez, he was the colorist of Arachnus. And on top of that, Andrew Mangum, who's friends with Michael Ortiz, who created Arachnus, said, Dolan, you got to get a hold of him. You got to talk to him. He's a good guy. You should chat with him. So I wound up reaching out to him. And before we knew it, we became best friends, like just after talking for like 2 to 3 hours one night. And so we have agreed we're going to be doing a for Dallas Fan Expo a mashup cover of Recluse versus Arachnus with Ginny being bound on the back, drawn by Michael Ortiz, inked by Andrew Mangum, colored by Jeannie Jimenez. So
Nice.
this will be available at Dallas Fan Expo. Michael drew this twice, so I've got one. Andrew Mangum has another.
Yeah.
He is sending them both to me as a thank you. As a friend, I'm like, dude, you're insane. But the next best part to this is that Michael is bringing back Arachnus, and I wrote the 10-page preview edition for the next series of Arachnus. It will be in the
Nice.
Dallas Fan Expo preview edition. Yes, with Michael Ortiz on the interior art. And I cannot. It was such an honor to be able to write Arachnus, a great '90s character, and for Michael to say he loved the script. Joe Corallo, editor extraordinaire, is the editor of it.
Awesome.
Yep. So it's quality, and this is going to be one beautiful damn book.
Yep. I mentioned this last time, but I love the full circle-ness of this because last year in Dallas Fan Expo, someone had brought up, "Hey, have you heard of Arachnus?" I'm getting familiarity vibes with with what you're doing in this, and then Sunday after, or no, maybe it's Monday morning. Monday after everything, we were just kind of comic shop hopping around before y'all's flight out, and then we happened to find Arachnus #1 in a back issue bin, and we're like, "Oh crap, this is like divine fate." Fast forward a year, and it's like you're teaming up. So I think that's awesome. It's one of those things that you couldn't write. It just life happens in mysterious ways, and this is one of those instances. But
it just, I mean, you don't like the thing like fate and everything, but still, I mean, it just had it was bound to happen. It was going to happen.
And we have a few interior pages, I believe, from Unholy Nightmare #2. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, so let's look at those real quick. Here is the first image we've got, and looks like some intense action going on here.
Yeah, so we got the Recluse and the Ginny reflecting upon the evening prior. Ginny's having a hard time, struggling to remember what happened, and let's just say, she's not taking it too well.
I mean, it looks like a slightly violent scene may have occurred. But
slightly violent. Yeah,
just slightly.
Dismemberment or two.
Yeah, but just 1, 2, 6. Who knows? Yeah. And the other page we've got here is this one, and I think this is the first interior art we're seeing of a certain character.
Yes, this is the introduction of the Golem right here. We have him. So let's just say the Golem gets into little fisticuffs with Ginny and the Recluse, and it's going to get a little explosive. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I get like there's so much I want to say, but I can't say. So no, it's a good, exciting stuff coming out, and once again, just super happy for you and your success and everything that's going on. So many announcements to come. So
just wait till June. You think this is a lot? Wait till June, and
Oof. We'll be ready. We'll be ready to talk about it. But no, good stuff. So thank you for sharing, and then we'll have to play that video again for Depths of Valor at the end of the show before we close out. But before we get into our comics for the month of February, let's quickly go to the chat and say hello to everyone that's here. As always, we have Cajun Corey in the house. Evening, guys. What's up, Corey? Nice to see you, brother. Looking forward to seeing you in Dallas, my friend. Gosh, a few months away. It'll be here before we know it. We've got our place booked. We're ready. Drew and I are going to have, well, at least Drew and I don't know if anyone else is coming out early, but we're going out early just to enjoy Dallas a little bit. And then we have the convention that weekend, so it's going to be a blast. We also have my buddy Kyle coming in on the X side. Intro music is fire. Thank you, good sir. Kyle's one of my good friends, so make sure you say hello. And Kyle, come over to the YouTube side. Come over to the side where it's a little gay. Hit that like button and hit subscribe. We've also got Kaiser Jose in the house. Sup, fellas? What's up, brother? Nice to see you here. JK, a Team NT X Naruto. Any good? Thinking of getting a kiddo. His Naruto birthday party is coming up. I'm
I'm
think
not.
I
I don't
missed
know.
that one.
Yeah, I've seen it on the shelves. Like, I'll be honest with you, JK. I'm aware of Naruto. I know it's a thing, but I have never read or watched Naruto. I don't know what the hell it's about. So give it a shot. I don't know if you're a Naruto fan. I don't know. To be perfectly honest with you, most of the crossovers with these other entities or IPs, I really don't know. And I mean, a hard one for me to really get into, but I did wind up enjoying was that DC Fortnite. I did like that. That was surprisingly good.
Yeah, that was not
Marvel's
bad.
version sucked ass, but DC's was good.
And it sold well for DC too. I
Oh,
know
yeah,
people.
It helps when you have a Jim Lee Batman versus Snake Eyes cover too.
True, very true. You can't really beat that. JK put glad no one was hurt, referring to the weather. Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm also glad no one was hurt. Very slight damage on my property too, just a little damage to the side of my house, and that's it from a tree falling. But other than that, all good. We've got Zax in the house with Joshy. Zax, I believe Zax is maybe he's not streaming right now. I thought he was streaming right now with Nick Weiser, but maybe I am wrong. We also have Boosh in the house. Hey, comic geeks. Hello, Boosh. How are you? Glad to see you're doing well and here. This is in response to Depths of Valor, but Boosh put was another German inside him.
He's filled with tinier men.
Yeah.
And no, but there is something potentially German and small inside of them.
Oh,
yeah.
I know what the answer is, but I'm gonna act surprised. Yeah. Oh gosh, I wonder what it could be. JK said, I like the spider elements in that cover. I'm not sure which cover it was.
Oh, it was the Recluse and Arachnus cover.
Recluse and Arachnus.
Michael Ortiz, the black and white one. Yeah.
Nice.
Not that one.
No. Shoot.
That one. There we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm looking at very tiny thumbnails. So anything that's black and white, I'm like trying to figure out what it is. But no, agreed. Good spider elements here, and a good fit.
Bear in mind, these are just those are just the roughs. He did it twice. This is not. Yeah, just wait when it's all touched up and it's inked and colored. Andrew Mangum is stoked to get started on this. He cannot wait, and this is going to be a beautiful, beautiful damn cover when he's done.
Heck yeah. Heck yes. Let's see what else we have here. Just 1 second. We have Cannoli Sasquatch in the house. Hello, everyone. What's up, Cannoli? Nice to see you here, brother. Cannoli just picked up Gotham Central. I think it was the omnibus.
Oh.
Yeah. And picked up Whatever Happened. Wait.
Whatever happened to Davy Jane?
No. I started to say Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, but it's not. It's the Batman. Whatever happened to the?
Yeah, the Neil Gaiman one. Yeah, I thought that was okay. That's all
right. I always just go straight to the Superman one with that. Then I'm like, oh, that was so good. But
it's because I mean, look, you had Alan Moore, Kurt Swan, George Perez working on that thing. It's like, and it's the perfect send off to the Silver Age Superman.
Agreed.
It's legendary.
Agreed. But Gotham Central, personally, I think one of the best books DC's ever done, and it's always kind of flown under the radar because it doesn't put superheroes front and center, but my God, was it good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it has the GCPD versus the Gotham Underground and like the villains, the super villains, and like as well as the corrupt cops. Yeah, that is honestly what I thought the show Gotham was going to be.
Same. I was so mad with what we got. I was like, what is this bullshit? Take it back. Take it back. You ruined it. We also have our favoritism buddy in the house. It's the Comic Crusader, Maxwell Von Priestley. We love you, Max.
Sweet.
Yeah, he's so cool. He's got 3 channels. Three channels. Three. So cool. So cool. I love that we give him so much crap. It's something about Kyle. That Kyle actually spells. I don't know who we're talking about, but yeah, I know we're referencing your
Keel.
brother.
I think he's talking about a keel. He's talking about a keel.
Yeah,
That's it.
I don't know which Kyle he means. The one that spells his name right. I don't know which Kyle that is though. So we'll see. As always, we've got Jana Banana in the house. Sup, boners? What's up, Jana? Nice to see you here. As always. We have the terrific artist of Feral here in the house. Trish Forstner. Hello, Trish. Nice to see you. We might be talking about your book tonight. I don't know. I do know, but we might be. We will be. So if you stick around, I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of lovely and gross things said about the issue that was released in February, because man, that shit was wild. But final few people, Mrs. Sassy Sasquatch. Hey guys. Hello, Sassy, nice to see you. And Jana, I'm not putting that on the screen. I'm not putting that on the screen. Oh gosh. Wow. Is that why? I don't understand. It's just a t-shirt. I'm lost. Trish put, oh my god, I cannot wait for you guys to see 11 and 9 and 10 where they're grossest. Oh yeah. We will we will definitely get into it. But so much good stuff. Not to give anything away. But with that, one last comment, because we can't pass this up. Kaiser Jose said, so much testosterone in here without Max.
Right?
No lies detected. Yeah. So, but no.
Take out the rain, boom, it goes up.
Right. Thank you for everyone that's in the chat. As we go through the books tonight, if you read them, let us know your thoughts while we're discussing them. But we're gonna go ahead and get this show on the road, because Drew, you've got some honorable mentions in here, and we're gonna start things off with Magic Order number 5, written by Mark Miller, with art by Matteo Buffagni and colors by Giovanna Nero. So, was this the last issue or second to last issue for this run?
Second to last. There's one more after this, but this issue is pretty much almost one long chase with Cordelia on the run by this mysterious hunter coming after her throughout the city, just pretty much trying to hunt her down with her bow and arrows throughout the city. And Cordelia has to seek refuge in somewhere that's kind of reminiscent of the Continental from John Wick, but it's where the magicians go to hide. And it's the one place, the neutral place where there's you interact with other magicians from other eras, and you can't really help anyone. But let's just say Cordelia may get some help from someone very unexpected to take care of the assassin. But this is a very, very fun read, very kinetic and very action-packed read. Everyone needs to check out the Magic Order. Mark Miller, he's killing it.
Yeah, it's crazy the number of books he's releasing kind of all around the same time. And I don't think any of them have been bad. There have been moments during some of them where we're like, I don't know. And then by the end, we're like, yeah, no, it was great. Like, just buy it. Just pick it up.
Yeah, so I left, I'll be honest with you, I left off Nightclub issue because, look, I thought it was good. I don't want to use the phrase jump the shark, but like the whole, what the Nightclub did to eliminate the problem. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that's one way of doing that. I wouldn't have considered that option, but okay.
Right.
But it was all right.
Yeah, I will say Nightclub 2 for me was the one that I think it was either after issue 3 that I was like, holy shit. And then 4 happened, and all the way through 4, except for like the last page, I was completely on board with it. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I want them to do this, because in issue 3, they kill a character, and I was like, oh, like wasn't expecting that crazy. And then they kill another character in the next issue, and I was like, all right, okay, I have thoughts. But yeah, no, I feel you there. I will say that I was picking up the Magic Order. I think I got the first 2 issues of this run, and then they were started selling out. So at my comic shop. So for me, I thought that was a pretty good thing that more people are kind of dipping into Mark Millar's books. So good problem to have. He's proven he's reliable. So if you want a good, action-packed, entertaining story, like you can always rely on Mark to deliver. And I'll have to catch this one in. Yeah, I'll have to catch this one in trade, but I'm looking forward to it. Kaiser Jose said, I finally caught up to Magic Order 4, finally ready to read this last series.
I love Volume 4. Volume 4 got wild and crazy with a guy in that he created like a fantasy. He's like a writer, created like a fantasy, like D&D world. I'm like, this is awesome. But yeah, Volume 5 is just as good.
Nice. We're going to move on to your next honorable mention of the night, and it is Geiger number 11, written by Jeff Johns with art by Gary Frank and colors by Brad Anderson. Drew, what makes this book one of your honorable mentions?
Yeah, this was another one that was really good. It would have been higher. There's some time jumps going on. And I think, but other than that, it was still a very solid read. And we get an interesting turn here. We encounter a female, we encounter a glowing woman who has somehow been cured of what Geiger's ailments are. And she tells him, hey, if you don't treat this condition you have, you're going to explode. It's going to happen. And he has this little nuclear spurg out at one point, and she has to remind him, yeah, the spurg not helping. You're going to have to cure this problem you've got. And they discovered that they may have been created by the same Russian scientist, which is pretty cool. And on top of that, Junkyard Joe is back in the story, and it appears maybe his creator is still alive somehow, some way. I don't know, but things are taking a very, very interesting turn now with Geiger, and yeah, it's still a very, very fun read and beautiful. Gary Frank on the art.
Agreed. I was about to say a fun read, and Gary Frank's art is just freaking fantastic. And not to say it's Paul Pelletier that's in between, right?
Yeah, and look, Paul, he is a perfectly serviceable artist. Perfectly serviceable. Yes. He's good. He's a good stand-in. G.I. Joe in here, but it's like, if I'm coming to Geiger, I want Gary Frank.
Agreed. I was having some conversations because Rook did its first 6 issues and took a hiatus, and it's coming back. Oh, it was on Wes's channel Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. But Geiger's coming back, I think, this summer, and we'll have new issues out. And we made the comment like, oh, someone said, oh, I wish they would have done that with Geiger and Gary Frank. That way we had Gary Frank for every issue. And I'm on board. I like the idea of that. However, I always get nervous if you take too much of a break between issues, because I feel like it's a good excuse to jump off. So I don't know. Part of me wonders, like, what if they release this bi-monthly instead, or I don't know. But yeah, if Gary Frank's on, I'm definitely more excited, and that's not a knock to Paul. I think he does great work as well. But
yeah, exactly. But it's just the part of the thing with Ghost Machine is that when you got these creators on these titles, when they say like these creators are associated with these titles, they're pretty much selling you that, oh yeah, these creators are going to be on every issue. These creators are going to be on all the books. It's where you're coming here. And then when Paul comes in, it's like, oh, okay, I was expecting Gary, but I'll take Paul, I guess. He's fine.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he's more than fine. It's just when you've got Gary Frank and then you do notice a difference.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely not knocking Paul by any means. Cannoli just I just read Geiger Volume 2. Pretty good so far. It's one of those that it took a little while to kind of get back in the flow of things, I guess, with this. I don't want to say relaunch, but the Ghost Machine start.
No, I agree. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know if I'm going to put this out there. I don't think Jeff knew what he had with Geiger. I don't think he knew what it wanted to be.
That's fair.
Because was it a post-apocalyptic story? Was it a superhero story? I both. I don't know, because tonally it was pretty bleak and depressing, and it had moments of dark humor. It felt like just a dark, twisted version of Mad Max.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what to make of it tonally, and I feel like there is a stronger narrative and tone with this current iteration of Geiger. And I think it's gotten a lot better with each issue.
Agreed. I do feel like consistently gets better, which is a nice thing to say with comics, because I think we tend to see the opposite. I think you can usually tell the story the creative team wanted to tell, and then it's great, and then you keep going. You're like, okay, so we're doing some stuff, and you have moments of good, but not necessarily greatness anymore.
Okay, you got nothing.
Oh yeah. Ian's here. What's up, Ian? Nice to see you. But he put, I love Paul Gauthier's art. Agreed. Solid artist.
Yeah.
I'm just, I think sometimes we get spoiled.
Exactly. Bullseye. I mean, look, like we said, I love Paul's art, but like the problem, I guess the situation he was in twice is that he got wedged between. He was coming in on two fantastic artistic runs with Gary Frank on Geiger and Chris Mooneyham on G.I. Joe. And it's, I mean, both knockout artists. Chris Mooneyham fucking killing it on G.I. Joe. And I would liken it to, if you're reading Uncanny X-Men back in the day, you're reading these terrific Dave Cockrum or John Byrne illustrated comics, and then all of a sudden you got this random jobber coming in as a fill-in. It's like, who are you? What? Where's this guy here? This isn't right. Go.
Yeah, understandable. Let's go ahead and move on to our next honorable mention of the night, and that is going to be Aliens vs. Avengers #3, written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Saad Ribic and colors by Ivy Svorchina. We're gonna that seems like that sounded right.
That's definitely a lot of letters.
Yeah, Ivy Svorchina. It's a very exotic. You know what? It sounds. Hold on, shit. What did Eric July say? Oh, it sounds. Shit. Oh, it does sound Slavic. He said Slavic, referring to someone from Iceland. But anyway,
I was gonna say, like, as my friend Kramer, Cosmo Kramer would say, this sounds a little made up.
This sounds a little made up. I'm gonna just say something real quick and then I'll let you jump in. But I'm loving this book because it's way better than I expected it to be. I mean, look, I get it's Jonathan Hickman, but usually I don't expect a lot from these crossovers, and this has been quite entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'll let you.
I'll be honest with you. I think it's gotten better. So going back way back machine to issue 1, I was disappointed in the fact that Hickman did a lot of telling and not showing in issue 1. He told us of the downfall of Earth. He told us about what happened here, what happened there, and I called bullshit on that. When you're doing a comic book story, you got to show, don't tell. And because I want to see that destruction, I want to see these heroes go down fighting and horrifically, but we didn't get that. But I will say it has gotten better. He's pulled back on the telling and not showing. And there was some great fight scenes in this issue. And hey, and Captain Marvel, she took that alien spooge to the face like a champ. And her face was melting. Yeah, it looks. Yeah, it's a big improvement. And and let's just say a couple of Avengers, 1 or 2, may or may not make it out of this one piece, or make out of it alive. And hey, the X-Men show up, and it's taken an interesting turn, and I'm very, very, very curious to see where it goes with the mysterious symbiote, the alien facehugger, how it's linked to the one symbiote. I want to see what happens next.
Yeah, I will agree with you that there was a lot of telling in the first issue. I remember I kind of gave it some grace and wrote it off, because isn't this just like 6 issues or something? Or is it?
Maybe.
I can't remember. It's a limited run. So I gave it some grace of like, all right, we don't want to spend too much time setting up the story, but I'm with you. I would have loved to have seen that downfall. Even if it was a brief recollection or recap, but visually seeing it would have been nice. And then, the ending of that first issue was, I mean, we thought something was happening and then it wasn't actually happening. And then you can determine, I think people loved or hated what happened with our little Spidey friend here. But good stuff. I'm enjoying it. I think it's a lot of fun. So not going to complain. We do have,
but I will say, I wish there was a bigger body count on the heroes. I wish, because if there's one positive I will give Tom Taylor when he does his out of continuity stories like Deceased. I don't fucking know who's going to make out of it alive. I don't know who's going to die.
Oh yeah,
and that's what's great about that. And we're not really getting that here with Hickman, which is a shame.
Yeah, agreed. Because I do think that's part of the fun with these books is you have the chance to kind of like clear the board if you want to. So yeah, Tom Taylor, when he's working on those Elseworlds, you've got like Deceased. Even in the work he did on Injustice, he was, dropping heroes right and left in that book.
Yeah, I mean, first issue. I mean, we're losing Green Lantern. I think we lost Batman in the first issue, or maybe it's the second.
No, he's still there. Batman stays pretty much all the way through the end of Injustice.
No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Deceased. I'm sorry, Deceased.
Yeah, Deceased. Oh yeah, Deceased. It's pretty early, I believe. But yeah, he's not afraid to go there. So that is something this could do a little differently. And but other than that, really good and beautiful artwork by Asad Ribic. There's some times where characters look a little weird, but overall, that kind of painted look, I do enjoy it.
I will say one of the coolest experiences I've ever had is seeing Asad Ribic paint in person twice.
Oh wow.
New York Comic Con, I forget the name of the retailer that flies him out, but he's there every single day. He is painting at the booth every day, and it's amazing.
Nice
sight to behold.
Real quick, we do have Roman of the Empire in the house with ahoy friends. Hello Roman, how are you? And he does have a question. He said, is this as good as the Batman or Superman versus Alien books?
No, not as good. I look, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I love Batman versus Predator 1, 2. But anyway, it was speaking of Aliens, but I think that both of the Superman versus Aliens is really good, and the Batman versus Aliens is really good. I think the Superman versus Aliens, from what I recall, I believe that was Dan Jurgens, Kevin Nolan, and I forget who else. But yeah, that was and I think Bernie Wrightson, maybe. I think it's Bernie and Kevin. But regardless, both were really, really damn good. And but here,
it's one of those things. Yeah, no, I feel you. It's one of those things where like those books to me are just top tier. And this is good, but I think it also, I mean, like, sorry if this makes you mad, not you, Drew, but other people. When you get a lot of bad and mediocre, which we've been seeing lately, I'm not going to say anything about Secret Six, but stuff like this.
Do not get me started on that damn comic. You want to talk about pissing me off when I read it? That was it.
Our group chat was like blowing up with stuff. But yeah, no, this is good. It's a solid book, but I don't think it's reached great. And this could be great, but it hasn't reached great like those other titles did. So hopefully that helps, Roman. If you're gonna get it, plus this is coming out on a weird release schedule. I think it's one issue every 2 months or so. But if you're gonna pick it up, maybe trade weight it, and that might be more up your alley. But I agree. Those books are killer. So and then Enzo's just confirming that yes, in Injustice, Tom Taylor killed Nightwing right away, which made me so mad. I was pissed. But
how he went out, I'm like, oh shit, damn.
That was the other thing that made me. I mean, it could happen, but it made me mad.
Yeah,
fucking Damian, man. Jeez, little shit. No, it gave Damian a good character arc, and then we also kind of got to see some stuff with Dick later on, which was interesting. compared
Yeah.
to the comic book. I mean, I'm not going to say I liked it, but I understood what they were doing based on history and crossovers with this character and stuff like that. So, but yeah. We're going to move on to the next honorable mention of the night, and it is Green Lantern number 20, written by Jeremy Adams, art by Jack Herbert, with colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr. So Jeremy Adams, like, really kind of digging in his place within the Green Lantern universe right now at DC, because he's doing a lot of work, a lot of setup, and good work. Really kind of bring the characters back in. We may or may not be talking about a different Green Lantern title when we get to my top 5 debuts, but yeah, Drew, I'll let you kind of run away with this.
I would say it's a bit of an understatement. I mean, what he's done, I cannot. I'm trying to dumb this down as much as I can for people to understand this. He saved Green Lantern. He saved it. I mean, look, I completely respect Jeffrey Thorne as a person. He's got his own point of view and everything. But what he did to the Green Lantern franchise, he essentially fucking nuked it. He nuked it, and it almost had like no chance of coming back where the state he left it in. And it was in a state of, what the hell is this? And Jeremy, doing the Lord's work, essentially, he brought it back to where it should be. And it gave me that sense of comfort, like, yes, things are right. This is where it needs to be. This is where our heroes need to be. This is where the lanterns, the core, the batteries need to be. And for this hard work, hey, he's now exclusive with DC Comics. Good for him. He's earned it. And it's the smartest move DC has made.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not Matt Fraction on Batman, and it's clearly here with Jeremy Adams. But yeah, this issue was great. I love this issue. I love the fact that how it opens up. I'm just like, where are we going with this? This is weird. But then it's like, it takes that twist. It's like, oh, okay, this is our guy. This is. I liked it, and you understand. I understand why he was chosen, and I feel bad for the guy. I'm like, you know what? Okay, I can kind of understand why you're doing what you're doing. But yeah, I do like the twist it takes at the end, where it goes, and yeah, I'm very excited to see where things go from here. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a blast. It's been interesting as well with Kyle, Connor, and the mysterious thief lady person, and yeah, I forget what her name is.
Yeah,
but,
I can't remember either.
Yeah, Jack Herbert, great job on the art, and yeah, Green Lantern is a solid read.
Yeah, and you know, we're talking about the crap that he had to like save this from, but we're also not talking about the fact that he got 2 issues into his Green Lantern run, 3 issues in, and then got interrupted by an event where it essentially just like paused his book.
As things were getting better in Green Lantern, it's just like, are you kidding me now?
Yeah, and this is not. This is gonna sound like it's a knock on Jeremy. It's not a knock on Jeremy. I was shocked when DC gave him an exclusive contract. Again, not because of Jeremy. I think Jeremy Adams is freaking fantastic. I was shocked because I didn't expect DC to make him move. That's like that much of a smart move. I didn't think they had it in them. I thought they were too focused on other things other than telling good stories.
No, you're right. You're right, Josh. Yeah. Honestly, I would have, if they were going to be doing an exclusive contract, I figured it would have been to like Mariko Tamaki or T. Franklin.
Oh gosh.
Or the jackass writer of Secret Six. Figured they would have given them an exclusive contract. But no, this, I mean, I don't know if this was just by sheer accident or coincidence. Accident and coincidence could merge together in accidents that they managed to make a good idea with making Jeremy exclusive, but good for them. It's the smartest move they'll make all year.
I don't know who deserves this credit, but I think they realized that while Jeremy Adams was on Flash, I mean, one, they clearly realized pulling him off Flash was stupid. But I think they realize that he can take larger scopes and do really good things with them. And when you have situations like Green Lantern, and then also situations like Aquaman, which Jeremy Adams just got on, we're seeing that he can take something that's a very large. Like these books could have their own like line, their own like little mini universe thing going on because of the scope of these characters and what they do. And he handles it well. And I feel like I don't think he's reached this level yet, but I feel like this is the closest we've gotten to Jeff Johns with Green Lantern. Like Jeff Johns was doing Jeff did groundbreaking work that changed the Green Lantern spectrum, for lack of better words, because we got all those other colors and stuff. Love it or hate it, it changed Green Lantern forever. But this is the most natural progression of the Lanterns probably since he's been involved with those books. And I welcome it. I'm excited for it. And in that same respect, I can't wait to see what he does with Aquaman, which we may or may not talk about in a bit.
Yeah.
So,
and maybe another title as well. Who knows? I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows?
Look, I've said it before. I'll say it again. In a year from now, Jeremy will be on Batman or Superman. I guarantee it. And hopefully it's with Jeremy Lau or someone else. And if, by chance, if DC does not put him on Batman or Superman, it is the dumbest decision they will have ever made.
I'm not sure. Well, yeah, I think eventually he'll get Batman or Superman. I also think he's going to be their event guy at some point.
100%. He has shown with Green Lantern, previous issues, doing his core event he did, and just self-contained in Green Lantern, was fantastic.
Yeah. And if they do get him on this whole event thing, I'm excited because I know he's the type of writer that's going to be like, no, you can't just launch an event and just start the story. You've got to have the proper build up and setup. And yeah, I'm looking at you, One World Under Doom, which just it just happens. That will not be on my list.
You want to talk about one of the biggest nothing burgers of events?
Oh my gosh!
It is that. It's just like every comic will have that banner, and it's just like, but oh yeah, things are fine.
I remember
One World Under Doom. Things are fine.
I remember picking that book up, the One World Under Doom #1, because it came out. It debuted in February. I remember picking that up, and before I started reading, I had the assumption that it was just going to end up automatically making it on my top 5 list because I was like, usually the setups are solid for these events, and then just they go nowhere. But I remember getting like within the first 2 pages because it's all Doom monologuing, and I was like, oh god, like I'm bored just starting this off. And then I'm like, how did we get here? Clearly they're going to explain it. And then when you finally get to the heroes, they're like, we don't know how this happened. We just woke up and it was like this. And I was like, I'm done. I'm so done with this book. But
the other thing I've been telling people, like the basic setup of this book, they're going to be reprinting it, I think, here in a few months, and rightfully so, they should. Warren Ellis, he took over Doom 2099 back in the early 90s. It was one of his first, if not his first, Marvel gig, and it was fantastic. What if Dr. Doom ruled the world? What if Dr. Doom took over, took control? And we see it from every single level, and it is fan-fucking-tastic. I'm going to tell everyone, if you want to read it done well and read it done right, check out Warren Ellis's Doom 2099. That is the blueprint. That's the textbook. And Ryan North is no Warren Ellis.
No, not even close. Not even close. JK put GL has been fun. Agreed. And Enzo said our little thief lady is Odyssey. And,
yes. And what's interesting about that is that Connor, it's like there's some moments with her and Connor in a previous issue where it's like, whoa, is Connor straight now? I don't understand. It's like these two may have a thing. It's like, good for Jeremy. Good for you, man. That's awesome.
We're on a spectrum, man. Spectrum.
Oh, god damn it.
Not just a color spectrum anymore. Take that. No, kidding. Yeah, we'll see. I'm loving this book. I'm having fun, and I'm glad that it's kind of getting some spin-off titles as well, which again, we'll bring up in a second. Moving on to the next honorable mention, we've got Aquaman #2, written by Jeremy Adams, art by John Timms, and colors by Rex Locus. Again, really going to some fun and unique places here. Arthur has kind of gotten some new abilities. He's taken on, well, he's some after absolute power, which was also a big nothing burger. He now has Mira's powers where he can control water, but he's kind of becoming a god killer under the sea in an alternate dimension. So Drew, go ahead and kind of share your thoughts on this and what you like about it and what you think is working.
One thing I do love the art in this. The art in this
Yes.
series is John Timms is doing a fantastic job with this, especially with he's the right artist for this tone of book, because it's got some darkness to it. Actually, a lot of darkness to it. And like you said, Aquaman is on this other Earth trying to find his family and friends, and who he winds up being captured with. It's like, oh, interesting. I didn't see this happening. But at the same time, there's a prophecy being told, and it looks like Aquaman may be part of this prophecy, and that could be coming about. And it's a fantastic read. And like you said, Aquaman is on this journey of learning to control these new abilities he's gotten from absolute power, and it's been a fun read. It's only been 2 issues, but it's been goddamn solid.
Yeah, I think if you get the right writer, and I do think Jeremy's a good writer for this, if you get the right writer dealing with these prophecy type things, it can be a lot of fun. Because if you play with them the right way, it can bring a lot of unexpected storytelling, and like from the reader or the viewer side. When you have lesser creators, sometimes prophecies are lackluster because they just tell you what's going to happen, and then they just do it with a few like ohs along the way. But if you have a quality writer, someone that understands storytelling, when you get a prophecy in there, it's never really just like, here's where we're going. It can be like you think you understand this, you think you know what this means, but you have no idea what this actually means. And I feel like that's what Jeremy's going to give us. So looking forward to it. And I think it's a lot of fun. And again, there's so much you can do with Aquaman and, Atlantis, and there's a whole world down there. We've got all these stories on land, and there's so much more water. Like, there's so much stuff that can take place with him and his kingdom and his people. So I can't wait to see how far Jeremy branches out with this title. And yet again, JK completely agrees here. Aquaman has also been fun, and I've liked the art. Agreed with you, Drew, that the art's it's a good fit for this book. So
yep.
All right. Well, we are about to head into our actual top 5. So as a reminder, when we get into our top 5, my lists are the top 5 debuts for the month. So you'll only be seeing number 1s from me. And then Drew will be covering the general top 5. And there may or may not be some crossover. So we'll see what happens there. But we'll kick things off with my number 5 pick for the month. And it's potentially a controversial pick. So my number 5 pick is The Hive, #1, written by AJ Lieberman, with art by Mike Henderson, and colors by Inaki Aspazu.
Sure.
Yeah. But this was an interesting book because look, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of characters you're following. You don't fully know what's going on, but basically you've got this criminal organization, and they have this kind of mind control powers, but no one's really on the same page. It looks like you've got your quote unquote queen of the hive that's the head of this organization. You've got some other characters that are operating within the organization, but maybe kind of just for their own benefit or doing their own thing and not really in sync with what the queen is wanting to do. And then you've got another character that somehow seems to have these same abilities but isn't involved, and I'm curious to see where it goes. I thought it was a good setup, but I will say it's a raunchy book, which you're about to see based on these interior arts. There's a lot of sex, quite a bit of nudity, a lot of violence. That's a hooker in the middle page, that's a hooker sleeping with one of your main characters. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to figure out is that okay? All right.
But nobody, and this is where it gets kind of hard. That I understand some people don't like it because there's a lot of people that had negative opinions about this book. Out of all the characters you follow, none of them are good people. They're all just detestable people. They all do terrible things. So
kind of like Stray Bullets.
Kind of like what?
Stray Bullets by David Lapham.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much in terms of that, detestable characters, and a lot of people did not like that. But my thing is, we already know they're all villains. Like they're meant. It's by design that they're detestable people. We're not supposed to be rooting for any of these people, but it's kind of like watching the story unfold, and you're like, which one of these assholes is going to end up on top? I didn't mind it. I thought it was a good setup. Again, you don't get much here because you're following so many different characters. I think there's like 5 different characters that you're kind of following. So within 20 pages, there's not a ton of room to really get that going. And I will say they did the best they could, but I know it left something to be desired for a lot of people. That's
the first issue.
Yeah. So I don't think they had an easy job cut out for them, but I'm intrigued enough that I'm going to check out the next issue. We'll see where it goes from there. But again, terrible people, a very raunchy book. There's quite a bit of nudity, quite a bit of sex, and a lot of people that just don't care about the people around them. So if that's not your thing, don't pick up this book. But I thought it was a solid start, and we'll see what happens.
I have no problem with a concept like that, but my issue from a storytelling perspective, I think that is too many characters to be introducing on the first issue. Brand new characters.
Agreed.
If they had just centered on 2, and I'm not going to be here. I haven't read this yet. But I would say if we centered on the 2 in that middle page right there, okay, I'm there.
Honestly, I would have. I think if you had the kind of dark on this first page, the kind of pinkish one, the character with the dark hair and the tank top. That's the quote unquote the queen. If you had focused on her and the guy in the third page, she's the queen of the hive.
That's a she.
That's not a good picture there, but in other pictures when you see her, it's very much a she. So
wait, in the pink page.
Yeah, that the kind of darker hair. It's not. Yep, just
okay.
It's definitely clear in other. It's definitely clear in other pages, because her hair is a little bit longer. But there's been like a major battle going on with this after this first page. So it's in the future. Her hair is a little bit shorter, probably just for the sake of not having to deal with it. But when we go back in time, her hair is longer. She's very busty. So trust me, it's a female. Anytime you see her full black, she's very busty, like big boobs. And not in a big boobs, tiny waist kind of way, just like full figured woman, but not big bone. She ain't big back. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so it's not like that's a huge bitch. It's not.
No, not like all of these characters are kind of, and I think it's just the way the artist draws them. But even if you look at the hooker in the middle page, like she's voluptuous. But if they had just focused on the queen and then the guy that's in the doorway letting the bee out of the room, I think if you just focused on those 2 characters, it would have been a much tighter start. Because the other like 3 characters that you follow, it was just too much, and you could have brought that up in issue 2 and it would have been fine. So 100% in agreement with that assessment, but still I didn't mind it, and I'm curious to see what they do, because it could go to some interesting places, but we'll have to wait and see. Moving on to your number 5 pick for February 2025, we have Weapon X-Men #1, written by Joe Casey with art by Chris Cross and colors by Mark Morales. So, Drew, I'm going to let you take this one because I'm going to be talking about this a little bit later.
Yeah, I had a blast reading this. I honestly respect Joe Casey. I've liked his work in the past. But hey, you're incorporating Deadpool into this, and it's like, okay. Let's just say outside of Rob Liefeld's run recently at Marvel with Deadpool, it has not been good. Cody Ziegler has been an absolute dumpster fire with Deadpool, as well as Alyssa Wong. Whatever they've done is just completely wrecked the character. So I was a little hesitant coming into this, but imagine my shock. I had a blast reading this. This was fun. It was fun. It was funny. It was just the right amount of Deadpool in this, and it was perfect. And it's great seeing Thunderbird kick ass in this, and the art by Chris Cross, fantastic. He's been in the game now for almost 30 years. Hard to believe, but yeah, this is a very fun read, and people got to check this out. This is the one good X book out right now. People need to check out.
I will talk about this later. I'm just gonna make two quick agreements. Yes, on Deadpool, because I've wanted to gouge out my eyes every time I've seen him lately. But I thought he was handled well here. And yes, this is the one good X book out right now. So who would have known? Actually, I think most of us just expected this. We were just worried if it would get derailed. But yeah, I will talk about this in a little bit. So we will go from there, but we do have some interior art here, and you can see that it's solid art, which is also nice to see from Marvel. Not the only Marvel book that we'll be talking about that I think has decent art, but yeah. And then real quick, Ian was talking about the previous book, but he put, oh hey, it's the artist who's working with Rucka on The Forged. Yes, I can't remember his name now, but I enjoyed the art. I thought it was solid art in that book. So
I didn't know Rucker was still writing. Good for him.
Yeah, he is. The Forged is it's like a mag. I can't remember. I think it's Image. Ian, is it Image that's publishing it? But it's like magazine size. It's a magazine size book, and it's like science fiction-y space. I can't really. I picked up the first few issues and thought it was solid, and I'm just gonna end up trade waiting because there's way too much stuff coming out. But yeah, we're gonna move on to our number 4 picks for February 2020 or 2025. Almost said 2022. And my number 4 pick for the month of February is Frankenstein New World #1, written by Mike Mignola, Christopher Golden, and Tom Snigoski.
Sure.
Art by Peter Bergting and colors by Michelle Madsen. So this is in the Hellboy universe. Yeah. And look, I'm gonna say something that's gonna make it sound like it's not very good or very exciting. It's a slow-paced book. It's a slow burn.
Well, and to really piggyback off what you said about being a slow burn, like a lot of Mike Mignola books are very, very slow burns. Yes. And actually, I think pretty certain almost all of them are slow burns. And that's what's kind of disappointing for me, at least, because I had never really read Hellboy before. And then the movie comes out. It's very popular. And I get the first like library edition of Hellboy. All right, sit down. I love this. And be kicking ass. I'm like, okay. It's
yeah.
It's pretty looking, but it's not as action centered as I thought. But it's okay. Yeah. That's Mike.
Yeah, it is. It is. And look, if you picked this book up and you said, I don't know, it just seemed kind of boring, I would get it. What I will say is it's competent writers and they're writing with nuance. And there's an understated level of understanding between the two main characters that I really enjoy and appreciate. And they're on a journey. So it's kind of got, which this is going to put Drew to sleep. It's got a kind of got this Lord of the Rings-esque type feel because they are traveling. Yeah. But I really like their interactions. And I do think the artwork, while not knocking me out, out of this world, I think it's beautiful. I think it's really pretty. I think it's one of those things where less is more, and I enjoy the subtlety and the colors. I think are really what sell this. But it's good stuff. I found myself liking the characters and being interested in them pretty much immediately. And then you kind of have some quirkiness throughout that kind of gives it some fun, and then you definitely have some action towards the end when something goes down. and yeah, curious to see where it goes, but I thought this was a solid start. So if you're a fan of the Hellboy universe, I think this is something that you should check out. You can see Mike's fingerprints on this, and definitely worth it. Real quick, before we move on, Cajun Corey's heading out. Good night, brother. I hope you have a good night. And yeah, so Ian followed up as well, just on the Rucka. So Rucka just started a newsletter to promote the final arc of his Lazarus comic, which I'm a fan of Lazarus. We did that for comic book or our LCS comic book club, and surprisingly, a lot of people didn't care for it as much, which I didn't see coming. But I'm a fan, and he put, yes, Image is doing the Forged, and he put, it's basically Warhammer 40K but with chicks. Max, Warhammer 40K but with chicks. So there you go. Max will be excited, maybe, or maybe he's gonna.
I think he's out. Like, he's out.
Yeah, he's like, no, nothing's as good as Warhammer, man. We don't need chicks. Check. Drew, we're gonna go on to your number 4 for the month of February, and it's G.I. Joe number 4, written by Joshua Williamson with art by Tom Riley and colors by Jordi Belair. Now, I know you mentioned a G.I. Joe earlier, but you're talking about G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. This is the new G.I. Joe. And what's working well with this book?
I love the fact how we're pretty much seeing, this is a universe where we're seeing it's the Joes, it's Cobras, it's Transformers, all in this one Energon universe. They're going to be meeting at some point. They're all going to be meeting, and a couple of them have already met. But what I love about this is that we're seeing a G.I. Joe fresh from the ground up, going up against Cobra from the ground up, and the Joes are getting their asses kicked. The Joes have lost almost all their battles, and they just cannot get their shit together. There's a lot of infighting. They can't trust each other. But meanwhile, you have the Cobras. They got their shit together. They got plans. Schemes, agendas. They know there's a hierarchy. And it's like, okay, I think I'm gonna go with these guys. They know what the fuck they're doing. And it's great seeing the interactions between Destro and Cobra Commander and the twins. I love it. The art by Tom Riley is fantastic. And the other thing is we haven't gotten to see Snake Eyes yet, and I'm very curious to see when he's going to show up, or if he already has shown up and he's as another character in this. Because there's a lot of fan theories that maybe this new character we've seen, maybe that's Snake Eyes. We'll see what happens. But I do love how in this issue the Duke he's given up. He's surrendered to the Cobras. Or does he have them right where he wants them? I don't know. We'll find out in the next issue. But yeah, G.I. Joe has been a phenomenal read. Do check this out. If you're not familiar with the G.I. Joes, this is a great jumping on point.
Yeah, agreed. I think this is a fun book. I'm enjoying it. And to give context to the G.I. Joes not being organized and kind of losing their missions, they're a new team in this book. So they're just now kind of coming together and really doing their own thing. Some of them have worked together independently previously, but this is the first time they're all coming together to be the Joes, pretty much. But I'm really enjoying this. I think it's a lot of fun. And I think this is something that Marvel and DC could learn a thing or two from, because we've got G.I. Joe, we've got Transformers, but leading up to this, we had the Cobra Commander book, we had the Destro book, and it reminds me of when Marvel or DC tries to take these secondary characters and create a mini series with them that matters, and they always seem to fail to do that. The Energon universe has made every book count, in my opinion. And it's been a good, fun read. Like, it stands well on its own and then only adds to what's coming in. So between Duke, Cobra Commander, and Destro, I feel like we got great setups that is only improving this read for me. So a lot of fun. And then we do have some of the interior art here, which I think the action's done quite well here. It's a lot of fun action. It feels kinetic, and that's not always the easiest thing to do. But yeah. And then
hey, I know choreographed scenes in chases, it's not easy. It is not easy at all. And another thing you got to remember, it's like you have a finite number of pages, you have a finite number of panels. You want to make them look, and you got to remember page turns. It is fucking hard. And and I got to give Williamson all the credit in the world. He's doing a great job here. And it's just, we've read DC before, and Joshua Williamson, his DC work, not that good. But here, I mean, he's killing it. He's killing it with the Energon universe. Duke, Cobra Commander series, G.I. Joe, he's lights out. And good for him.
Yeah. Chris accurately put only book to skip is Scarlet.
Pretty much.
I definitely agree. And then oh gosh, I can't remember how to say your name, but Cexel. You'll correct me in a second. I remembered last time and I felt proud of myself, and now I'm like, crap. But he put G.I. Joe. Art wasn't great, still story was good. I personally liked the art. I didn't mind it. It's got
a good cartoonish vibe to it, just like G.I. Joe is a cartoon. I think it's got that. I like that art style with it. Yeah,
fair. And I personally just love this on this middle page, which this page 2 and page 3 was actually just a big splash page, or double page spread, I should say. But I love the room because it's so just on point for me. But yeah, good stuff here. I'm really enjoying.
It brings out the 8-year-old in you. It brings out the kid in you when you see that. I love it. Yeah. But
I also like it because these panels, they feel cinematic. And I think that is something you need with a book like G.I. Joe. You need something that feels like it's got some energy. But
100%. Yes.
CXLA. There we go. Okay. Ooh. And then JK put, seems like Williamson is playing to strengths in G.I. Joe, but try to be Scott Snyder at DC. You're not wrong about DC, because there was a lot of stuff that, especially when they launched Rebirth and they had the Justice League books and everything, Scott was kind of leading that Justice League story, and he started and had a lot of tie-ins with books and characters with that, and he was kind of following that lead. But even his Flash, I people love it. Joshua Williamson's Flash run. I think it's okay to good.
Yeah.
But we definitely got to see his strengths here. Like, this is the best work he's ever done, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely, no question.
Yeah. Between Duke, he did Cobra Commander too. Between Duke and Cobra Commander, and then this, like, he's doing an incredible job.
3 books are so tonally different. Like,
yes,
Cobra Commander is like a Quentin Tarantino, horror film. Pretty much like it is hilarious. I love it.
Yes,
and
wild.
And you got, Cobra in the Duke is like an espionage action thriller. And this is a full on Michael Bay action movie right here. I love it.
Agreed.
Love it.
And yeah, we've got that promise of, we know all these factions are going to cross over, meaning Joe, Cobra, and Transformers. So can't wait. We've got Jamin D in the house coming in with a rock on. What's up, brother? Nice to see you here. Come talk nerdy comics with us. But we're going to move on to our number 3 picks for February 2025. My number 3 pick is Green Lantern Corps #1, written by Jeremy Adams and Morgan Hampton, art by Fernando Passarin, and colors by Eric Prianto. So kind of mirroring what we brought and mentioned earlier, just the expansion of the Green Lanterns in this universe that Jeremy Adams is kind of helming. And I do think Green Lantern is the better book, but I thought this was a solid start. And it does a good job of kind of touching in on the Green Lanterns that I think a lot of people would want to see, if it's not Hal. So we do get some interesting stuff here. And a certain character returns to the green team, we'll say, which I typically hate when this is done, but I honestly didn't mind it here. And I'm going to give it some grace and benefit of the doubt, because I didn't finish Absolute Power. I don't really know where things left off with that.
Most don't.
Yeah, I'm just like, but I will take it for now, because it adds a nice little hurdle that I know is going to come up at some point for our lanterns. But like pretty much every character you see here, except for Kyle. I don't remember seeing Kyle in this issue, but you see every character here, and you might be going, "Oh God, I don't want to see JoJo Mullen." Honestly, JoJo's only here for like 2 pages, 3 pages, but I didn't mind her, and it wasn't one of those things where it had to be like, "Oh my God, bow down to JoJo. It's the best detective ever, bestest ever to ever exist."
No, Josh, that's absolute Green Lantern. No.
Yeah. But no, it acknowledges that she's one of the finest detectives, and I'm like, you know what? That's a good way to put it. I will accept that. But we get a nice little touch on all these characters: Simon, Jessica, and John's kind of like our main focus for this. But there's also some really great stuff because we don't really check in with Guy. But I thought I had those pages here. When they get back to Oa and they're kind of in their base and walking around, I don't know if you saw those 3 pages where Guy is talking to that alien in the background.
Yeah, loved it.
Did you pay? Oh yeah, it was. It's great comedic storytelling without ever actually acknowledging it. But he's sitting with this alien. It looks like questioning him, and then the next panel, the alien's like a little bit bigger, and then the next panel, the alien's a little bit bigger, and then he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then the next time you see him, the alien has exploded and is now a baby in the chair. And Guy's like covered in goop. And the Guy's like walking around with the baby later, feeding it. Like it's great. Shenanigans, but good stuff.
It reminds me of a certain friend of ours doing Kneel Before Doomface.
It does with some zombies in the background. Yeah. But no, for me, this is like what works with Jeremy is he's fully aware of storytelling and he makes a point. And again, show don't tell. He is giving you so much story, and I think a lot of people are going to miss half of what's out there or in these pages. But I think the thing here, and I think it's going to be a love it or hate it situation, but Sinestro is back. So we get to see him working with the Green Lanterns for reasons. And
it happens. There are heel turns. It's common, but we know it's not going to last forever. I know he's not going to be friendly forever. So I'm very curious to see where the turn is going to be. And where and when.
We know that she was going to drop at some point, and we're waiting for it. But he's effective. I mean, look, Sinestro. It's not like he's bad at what he's done. He's just a bad guy. But he's very effective in this book, and we kind of get to visit some familiar planets and see some people that I think there's a lot of promise to this book, and that's what I want from a first issue. So kudos here. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I just can't wait to keep exploring the vastness of what Jeremy has planned for the Green Lantern universe. And give us some Kyle. Give us some Kyle. Come on now.
Hey, we're getting some Kyle. So he's in him, Connor, and I forget what her name is. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, in Green Lantern. Yeah. I was referring to he's on the cover here, so I wouldn't mind seeing him in this book as well.
Yeah.
Your number 3 pick for February is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 7, written by Jason Aaron with art by Juan Ferreira. I have a very soft spot for Juan in my heart. He's one of the first artists that really kind of worked with us at Batman News in terms of, trying to do interviews and giving us sneak peeks and stuff. But such an incredible guy. And my God, did he bring a certain energy to this book when he stepped on, because it just feels like a completely different book. But Drew, I will... Oh yeah, it's so nice. I will let you run away with this.
Yeah. So, where to start with this? I am not a fan of Jason Aaron. I normally 9 times out of 10, I will be avoiding his work like the plague. It's not going to happen. He has done more damage than good to characters and franchises. So initially, when he came on Turtles, I was petrified, mortified, horrified, stupefied, and when it started off, I was like, okay, we're off to a decent start. Okay, it's getting weird with Donatello and the dead rat thing, but in this previous issue, not this one, but the previous one, it takes a turn. We see something. We were teased that okay, maybe Donatello isn't completely insane, but on top of that, we got Juan Frey on the art, and God, he kills it, and he kills it in this issue as well. Got the turtles on the run, trying to survive from the government, from the New York government trying to take them down. But on top of that, you have them bickering with each other, and we also see a little bit more. This is how I read it. This is how I read it, Josh. It's that Donatello, he is not insane. He is actually speaking to Splinter, and Splinter is there. Splinter is there spiritually, looking over the turtles. And I'm hoping I'm reading that right. If I'm wrong, I'll be pissed. But I'm reading that Splinter is always there, and Donatello isn't crazy. And it looks like in the next issue, we're going to get some Donatello Jackie Chan happy action going on, with the bow staff. So, it's a fun read. It's an action-packed read. It's a beautiful comic. Jeremy, he is doing a solid job right now, and I got to give him all the credit in the world for that, because I didn't think he had it in him anymore. Turtles is good.
Agreed.
Really good.
Agreed. And I agree with you on your assessment of what you think's going on with Donatello. I feel the same way. So I hope that's the case. And then just speaking to Juan, like, just for reference, you have pencilers that struggle to deliver mediocre to good art within the time frame that they need to for a monthly comic. Juan is doing pencils, inks, and colors all on his own, and I don't think he's ever had issues with deadlines. Like, he works incredibly fast, and just the richness of his art, but also, like, you can see the way he frames his panels. It's a great storytelling. And I first came to discover his work. He did a book called Gotham by Midnight that was kind of like a Spectre type story back during the New 52 days. And that was the first time I saw him. And it was a really good read, especially when he stepped on. But yeah, I love his work. I love what he's doing here. Also, not the biggest Jason Aaron fan, but I'm enjoying this. Speaking of Jason Aaron, he had, I think it was Jason Aaron that had Bug Wars come out this month.
That was good. I kind of dug it.
Oh, I didn't like it. I was so annoyed with it. And
wow.
Look, maybe this is, I know, sorry.
Maybe I will say for me, the one thing I didn't really like it was like the relationship between the brothers and like
but that's like 3/4 the book are those two. Yeah. Well, God, what was the main kid that his name was like Slade James Slayerson, like that's his name, and I'm like, fuck off. But I get it, and again, this is probably me being petty, but the whole idea of the bugs have their own world and everything, but they're like the lawn, and they're trying to make it sound so, and maybe this is part of the humor of the book, I don't know, but they try to make it sound so grand, and I'm like, it's the backyard, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't. It sounds like he's really trying to make it like his own John Carter of Mars type story.
He is, and look, there's good action in that book. I was uncertain of it, and then I hated the family dynamic. So for me, that took me out. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, we're not talking about that book. Sorry if you loved it. Tell me why I'm wrong, because I'm telling you now, it's not showing up on my list. So you can come yell at me in the comments, and maybe I'll reread it on a different day. Maybe I was having an off day that day. But TMNT, great stuff. I'm enjoying it. I'm kind of sad to know that we've only got a limited time with these two creators, because we know Jason Aaron currently not writing this book. In terms of like right now in this time span, he's finished. So sad days, but we take what we can get. Coming in, our number 2 pick for February 2025. My pick for the month is Eddie Brock Carnage #1. Which, Drew, did you read this or no?
No.
Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna start off. Oh, time out. This is written by Charles Soule with art by Jesus Says and colors by Matt Hollingsworth.
Is it? I mean, the title alone has me saying no. And then Charles Soule,
yes,
no, I'm done.
Okay, so let me go ahead and tell you, I kept moving this further and further and further down on my list because I was so certain this was going to be a big steaming pile of shit. So after getting through of like 80 to 90% of the books, the number ones for February, I finally got to this, and which clearly I wasn't overly impressed with a lot of the debuts we had this month. I got to this expecting to get 6 pages in and toss it to the side. And
yeah, we gotta be honest. Charles Soule has been on Star Wars now for 4 years doing his fuck all over there. Granted, he did have a good run at Darth Vader. I'll give him that. He had a good run with Master Vader. But everything since then, doing with the High Republic, it's been a dumpster fire. It's been shit. Absolute shit. And now he's gracing the presence of Marvel continuity with Eddie Brock Carnage. Good luck. But you're saying it's good.
I enjoyed it. So almost the entire, I would say at least 3/4 of the issue, you start off and it's Eddie Brock on a plane, because he's now joined up with the Carnage symbiote. So Eddie Brock has kind of taken this upon himself to try to prevent Carnage from being as much of a menace as he is. So he's trying to contain that a little bit, and he thinks he can. But Carnage has pretty much said, no, if you're with me, the deal is there's going to be blood. I require death. So they're essentially looking for serial killers and stuff that he can murder, and Carnage is like, I'll accept it. But they're on a plane because there is a serial killer on the plane, but they don't know specifically which one it is. And you got part of it, they're trying to figure out who it is, which gets into some weird, creepy stuff. And then it leads into that crazy action. But what I really like here is, one, I think the art looks pretty damn good. Not going to complain about the art, but you get into some really interesting stuff. Because by the end of the issue, you learn that Eddie has been blacking out and things are happening and he cannot remember it. So Carnage, Eddie doesn't have full control. Carnage has some control here. And they're kind of, have a little bit of a back and forth within their mind. But I thought it was a really interesting read. I didn't expect this from Charles Soule. And I didn't expect this from this book. But it looks like, Carnage is also working an angle. So it's going to be which wit will win. And I mean, clearly, whenever we see a book like this, it's like, okay, Eddie's going to end up being the guy that wins. But I don't think it's going to be a clean win. So I'm on it. It's a 5-issue miniseries. It looks like it's going to be a tight story that they tell. And if it builds like I think it's going to build, I think there could be a lot of really good, fun elements in this book. So for me, I was certain this wouldn't be on here. And sure enough, it not only made my list, but landed at number 2. So go figure. But yeah, I don't know. Check it out, Drew. I think it might surprise you because
I might. I might.
Someone gets stabbed in the face at one point, and not by Carnage. So it's it's pretty violent throughout, which it should be. It's fucking Carnage.
Look, all I'm going to say is it's been the Torin Grünbeck show, and all I'm going to say is Torin Grünbeck is not the best comic book writer on the planet, and
at all,
probably closer to the bottom tier. And how she got so much work, I don't fucking understand.
What do you mean? She's doing great on Catwoman right now. Sarcasm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's why I said sarcasm. But J.K. is came in with, don't know that anyone could do much with High Republic. Maybe. But Charles Soule is one of those people that I'm like, sure. I mean, I've read stuff and thought, this is fine, but I don't know if I've ever been over the moon. I'm not saying this makes me over the moon, but I think it's good.
It's a good start. Gotcha.
Yeah. Drew, coming in with your number 2 pick for February, we have Flash Gordon number 6, written by Jeremy Adams, making the list again. Art by Will Conrad and Cliff Richards, with colors by Lee Loffridge. What is it about this number 6 that made this jump up so high on your list? Because he's Flash Gordon we've been discussing each month, but it's mostly been in the honorable mentions, but now it's jumped up to your number 2. So what resulted in that jump?
This is where we take the turn. This is where we take the twist. This is where we talk about the heel turn. You know, we're waiting for those characters. They're working together. You wait for that villain you just know is going to make that twist. And here we get it. You know, sure enough, Ming, he makes his little twist. You know, our heroes, they survive, but they go to Ming's little hideaway where he's got his little weapons vault and everything. But yeah, Ming more or less set them up, and it's fantastic. I love it. I love seeing Dr. Zarkov and his robotic body and Flash trying to survive, trying to make it out. It's fantastic. It's a great read. It's great, action-packed, very fast-paced, kinetic issue with them trying to survive. And yeah, I gotta recommend if you're not familiar with Flash Gordon, or if the only thing you know about Flash Gordon is the movie, check out Flash Gordon. It is one of the best comic books out right now. And the fact that Jeremy Adams has resurrected Flash Gordon, I got to give him all the credit in the world, you know, because so many people have tried in the past, and he's doing a phenomenal job here. And you got Will Conrad on the art. Will Conrad is killing it on the interiors here.
Oh yeah, there are two quote unquote dated characters that I would say that are really thriving right now. It's Conan and Flash Gordon, and then what Jeremy's doing, and this goes back to what we were talking about with Green Lanterns and with Aquaman, but you know, I think a lot of people come in and they have a good idea. Therefore, they think they are good writers. And that is not the case. And there's been plenty of times in the past where I started talking about story structure and how you should plan things and how events need to unfold so that there's impact where there needs to be impact, suspense where there needs to be suspense. That is something that Jeremy understands and executes, in my opinion, really well. I would even say sometimes he moves a little fast, but it is a comic book, and I think he wants the high energy, and I recognize that. But yeah, you can tell that he comes in, and every story that he starts, you can tell he's got a plan and where he wants to take things. And you can tell that you're always starting off and that it's only going to just grow and expand and grow and expand. And this is no exception here. So I love the work that he's doing. I'm glad he's getting the recognition that he's getting. And I hope more people check out Flash Gordon. I think the first volume of the trade came out not too long ago, within the past month it came out.
Yeah.
So if you want, go. I mean, look, they're handling this really well. They released it pretty quick. So go get it, get caught up so you can go pick up this issue. And yeah, let's go. Oh, yep. Jamin D, correction. Space Ghosts. David Pepos is doing really good work with Space Ghost. I will say Space Ghost is a more recent-ish character than Flash Gordon and Conan, which go way back. But the resurgence we're seeing with all these are excellent. And time will tell to see if Johnny Quest kind of lands as well. But it doesn't seem to be getting the excitement that these other books are getting. So, but yeah, great pick. Glad you picked it. I'm happy to see it so high. And yeah, Jeremy, hold on. What is this? Okay, so Jeremy Adams and Jim Lee are doing a signing at LA at Golden. Okay, nice. Yeah, so there is a comic shop called Golden Apple that's in Los Angeles. It's in Hollywood on Highland and Melrose, I believe.
Well, all I know is Golden Apple, they're getting some serious action here in the next month or so. Not only are those two going to be there, but Rob Liefeld is having his big Youngblood relaunch there in the 33rd anniversary, I think is what it is. It's going to be happening at Golden Apple, and things are going to be huge there at Golden Apple. And if you're in the LA area, do check out that dual signing and the one with Rob Liefeld, because I really, really feel, Josh, that the Youngbloods resurgence this year, I think retailers and Diamond and Image, they're gonna kick themselves for not being part of it.
Probably. Golden Apple was the shop that I used to go. Well, that and Meltdown. Meltdown is now closed, but Golden Apple and Meltdown were the two comic shops I would go to in LA. So every Wednesday I was for sure at Golden Apple, and they do a lot with creators. They've always done a lot with creators, and it's crazy because if you've ever been there, it is such a small shop.
Never been. I've never been to Golden Apple.
Oh, it's a tiny space and they cram so much in there, but they make it work. Like you don't feel like, oh, it's too claustrophobic. But they've got really good selection. If you're in the proper like major Los Angeles market and you're looking for their new releases, that's the place to go. But they've got great trades. They've got some back issues. And the guys that work there are fantastic. They had, it's probably been a year or two now that they had some issues. I think someone vandalized their shop or something happened, but they weren't sure they were going to be able to sustain staying in business, and they were able to. So happy to see all the stuff going on with them. And then hopefully this brings a lot of people in because look, at the end of the day, Jeremy Adams great, but getting Jim Lee to come and do a signing is pretty big, all things considered.
That's huge.
Yeah,
because he ain't cheap. I know that.
No, no, at all. But so if you're in the market, go look up Golden Apple Comics, see when these signings are, and go check them out. And
I'm wondering if that's going to be in line with the Hush release.
I'm pretty sure it is. So yeah, definitely go check it out because again, those guys are great guys. And then they were there because I stopped reading comics for a while, and I told this story back when I started with Batman News. The reason I started doing that was I was in a corporate job. I was miserable. I hated my job and was looking for some type of outlet. So I kind of got back. I decided to pick up some comics because New 52 had just launched. And I was hearing a lot of buzz about Court of Owls. So I went in and was just asking a lot of questions and was like, hey, I haven't read comics for like 10 to 15 years. I just need to figure out what I've missed and where can I pick back up. And those guys were like, how much money do you want to spend? And we'll give you a stack of books. So I pretty much gave them like, for today, let's spend this. So they're like, great, start here. And it was just nice. It's always nice when you have that type of relationship with your comic shop. But yeah, so good guys, happy for their success. Glad they've got two incredible talents coming in. And like I said, they've always got people coming in. So just follow them if you're in the area and see what they've got planned. Mike Solo Dragon channel put, I picked up a handful of the Dick Tracy books, was pleasantly surprised by it. So I liked the Dick Tracy book. Yeah. I was going to say Drew didn't care for it as much.
So I'm one of those weirdos. I read a lot of the Dick Tracy newspaper strips when I was younger. I read a lot, and being that weirdo and reading the series, I'm just like, no, this isn't what I want. This is not what I want. Like I said, I'm one of those weirdos. It felt too dark for me being a fan of those strips, but I'm clearly in the minority with that opinion.
It's okay, Drew. We can't always be right. Wakanda forever.
Trust me, it hurts. Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
JK put, I've enjoyed Johnny Quest, especially for being all ages. Yeah, look, I'm really enjoying Johnny Quest, but what I'm saying is it's just not getting the attention like Conan's getting, like Flash Gordon's getting.
Yeah,
that's
Johnny Quest has been good. Johnny Quest has been good. It's been solid, but it hasn't had like that one or two issues where it's like it's driven itself up there to be in the top 5.
Correct.
It's just,
correct.
Yeah.
Well, even looking back at last year, like Space Ghost made people's top 10 lists. Conan made a lot of top 10 lists. Flash Gordon was still relatively early, but a lot of people were putting it in. It's like percolating or like honorable mentions. And a lot of people were like, hey, like if we had more issues, they'd most likely make our top 10 list. But I think we were 4 issues in total by the end of last year. So I get it. But that's where Johnny Quest just hasn't hit that level for me yet. And that's okay. Like not everything does. I can enjoy it for what it is. And I agree with the all ages aspect. That's something you can read with younger kids if you got it, and it's a lot of fun. And probably better than 99% of the All Ages books that are out there. So, winning. It's on the same day. Oh, sheesh. So that signing with both of them is on. That's going to be a crazy ass day.
That's
wow.
going to be a cluster. I guarantee it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're going to have, if anyone's been there, Golden Apple's close to a street corner. I think there's like a business or two before you get to the street corner. There's a Chipotle cat corner from the comic shop. Why do I know? I always got Chipotle in comics.
I will tell you, if Chipotle is smart, because I'm willing to bet you there. I mean, my experience with Jim Lee and the others, there's going to be a fucking line a mile long. If Chipotle is smart, they're going to have some people working that line and be like, "Hey, you guys hungry? Like, we can place the go order for you here right now." No, that way you're waiting in line.
Yeah,
capitalize on that, bitch. That's what you got to do. Come on.
Yeah, but there's no doubt that they're going to have a massive line out the door because they can only fit so many people in that space. But anyway, this honestly makes me happy for Golden Apple. I'm super happy to see that they've got Jim. I mean Jeremy as well, but again, that's a big freaking deal. As unhappy as we may be, and as much as we may discuss that Jim Lee is asleep at the wheel at DC, this is a big deal for that shop, and happy for them. All right, are we ready for our number one picks for February? Oh yeah,
let's do it.
So, I mean, I gave myself away earlier by saying I was going to talk about this book, but my number one pick is Weapon X-Men #1, written by Joe Casey, art by Chris Cross, colors by Mark Morales. Drew, you kind of touched on everything that I said. I think this is a really fun book. But the other thing that I really liked is all the characters feel true to themselves. You can tell that Joe has a really good understanding of these characters, how they should speak, how they should interact, and it plays out. And a lot of this issue is, I don't want to say recruitment, but it's like, hey, we're picking up the team, and that could be very boring in the wrong hands, but Joe makes it fun. But yeah, we've got Wolverine. The next character that we see show up is Deadpool. And the moment I saw him, I was like, oh gosh, okay, all right. And then I'm reading it, and I'm like, wait, no, this is the Deadpool that I enjoy. Like, I like this version. So it wasn't trying too hard. It wasn't someone like, how funny and silly can we make this? It made sense. The jokes that were there made sense. And it was I'm trying to think now. Like, clearly someone's after Wolverine because he's in this hotel. There's an elevator that explodes while he's on it. So he's now at another hotel, and that's when Deadpool shows up. Deadpool's talking about the drink of choice that he has, and as he's talking about it, he's like, yeah, this isn't usually what I'd expect you to be drinking. Oh, hey, by the way, someone's after you. And Wolverine's like, yeah, no shit, they just tried to blow me up. I thought it was great. It was fantastic. Cable comes into the picture. We've got Chamber, we've got Warpath, like all really good stuff. And I'm super stoked to see what Joe does, and the art's pretty solid. So for me, I thought this was a huge win. And look, part of it may be that we've been getting X books and they have been bad. That's me being nice. So I was concerned that as much as I like Joe Casey, I was concerned that Marvel was just going to fuck everything up. So thank God they didn't. And if you didn't pick this up, you definitely need to go pick it up. Anything else you want to add now that we're at the end, or no? You good? You spoke your piece earlier.
Yeah, everyone's got to pick this up. Yeah, this is these characters written well. It's a X title, finally worth picking up and reading. It's got some testosterone to it. It's well illustrated. Yeah, X fans need to unite around this book
for sure. We've got Nadia. Did the redirect work? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know. I've never seen Mike's Solo Dragon channel before. So if Mike came from your channel, then yes, it worked. But other than that, no. But I appreciate you thinking of me, Nadia. It's always weird. The first time I did it, I think I screwed mine up. going into Zach's stream. So, JK, good night. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Always love kind of chatting with you in the comments as we go through these books. Drew, we're going to move on to your number one pick for February 2025, and it is Feral number 10. Excuse me, written by Tony Fleeks with art by Trish Forstner, colors by Tony Rodriguez. We talked about this at the beginning because Trish was in the chat. I don't know if Trish is still here because I don't know if she realized she was going to be number one. But holy mother of Jesus, does this book get wild for 9 and 10.
Yeah.
Holy, Trish is here. Okay. So she's like, oh man, number one, and a well-deserved number one. So I will start off by saying that when we had our top list on Max's channel for 2024, I got a lot of shit because Feral was not in my top 10. It was in the like 20 to 11 range. And all three, Kyle, Drew, and Max, gave me major shit. I'm like, look, I just feel like we haven't really gone into it yet. And I feel like I just don't know. We're there now. There is no doubt Feral's going to be in my top 10 for this year with where we're at, because when we first kind of went into this new arc and the cat showed up at this house with this lady that was taking all the cats in. You've got the dead cat under the couch. Really crazy stuff. You knew something bad was coming, around the corner. We hit issue 9. I'm like, this is what I was expecting. Great. Then we hit this issue, and I'm just going to say I did not see this coming, and I was like, oh, this is so fucking gross right now.
Yeah.
It's so gross. So, Drew, I'm going to let you talk a little bit, and then we'll go back and forth.
It's hard to say, add to what you've already said, but yeah, this issue takes I don't want to say a hard left turn, but like it makes a hard turn, and it's like, it goes there in this book.
Yeah.
And because, hey, the cats, they're trapped in the basement. They cannot get out. And their master, the lady, she appears to be dead. It's blocking a door. And cats, they got to do something to get out of there. And all I'm going to say is, if you're familiar with the story of Alive, I'll leave it at that. But it goes there, and holy crap. And at the end of it, that's not the end of the story. That's not the end of the issue. It continues, and it only gets crazier and wilder. And where it's going to go to next, I have no clue. A little bit of clue. I don't want to spoil it, but I have an absolute blast with this, and it's so cool when you look at the pages. You look at like the cats, how they're all illustrated. Then you see the human body, how different. Yeah. Different that's illustrated, and I love it. It's just, it's beautiful. It's so beautifully illustrated, so well told. The cats have their own different, unique personalities.
Yes,
and it's great, because they're not all in line with what they got to do. Some of them like, no, we're not doing this. This is disgusting. And on top of that, this is a body, a human, because we've learned that this virus, it's been able to jump from animals to humans.
Yep.
And clearly, this woman is infected. So the cats that have eaten chunks out of this, who may or may not have had a bite out of this lady, are they going to get infected?
Are they?
We'll find out.
Find out. It's the lingering question. I will say that I had a oh shit moment, which is what you kind of just referenced there, and then a holy shit, no way, from what kind of takes place right before the end. But I will add, like, to second, all these cats have their own personality. They very much feel like real characters. I've referenced the book club that we do with my comic shop, and usually before we start each book, we'll just have a general question. And one of the questions was, "Hey, what's a current book that you're reading?" And there were like 3 people that brought up Feral, and I was like, it made me happy because we've had Trish on Max's show and been in the comments and stuff, but. I was like, oh, heck yeah. And I loved it because all of them were like, yeah, I've sent him my picture of my cat.
So, even Max did. Yeah, Max
did as well. but it's just such a fun read, and that's what we talked about is the juxtaposition for the style of the art, which is this very Disney thing, but the depth of these characters, because there's a lot of nuance here that we're kind of seeing with them between so you've got Gigi, which is the kind of like prissy cat with the kittens, and then gosh, what's this main cat, the orange
It's not Lord. It's not Lord.
Elsie. Okay,
Elsie, yeah.
You get Elsie, yeah, Lord, and then there's another
lady. There's Lady.
Yeah,
no,
there's
not Lady.
another one
Not
that
Lady. I'm sorry. No.
There's another one we haven't seen in a while that also kind of potentially
shows up at the shows up maybe at the end. It's like, oh crap, yeah.
But yeah, good stuff.
So Trish shared her favorite line. That's right up there. My favorite, it's got me laughing, is I forget who it. I'm not sure which one. I think it's Lord. It says, "She doesn't taste like anything. Not bad." It's just.
Yeah, because I think one of the babies say, or kittens say, tastes like chicken, and Lord's like, it doesn't taste like anything.
Yeah.
But yes, Chloe, who's Lord's like new girlfriend, who's caught up in this cult of cats. Yeah, she is. She is. I've forgotten about that line. That's great. This book's a lot of fun. It's crazy.
Just how Trish illustrated the old lady, like when she's like when she wakes up.
Creepy as fuck.
It is creepy as yes.
Yeah, that's when I went, oh shit. Oh no, that was my holy shit. My oh shit was the chomping num nums. But yeah. And then Trish also mentioned that there's a speech from Gigi in this issue that I basically wrote. I'm assuming it's the speech to Elsie, where she's kind of saying like, you haven't been right.
Yeah.
But really, really good stuff. And that's the thing. Like you get these just pops of character moments that actually have a lot of depth. Because Gigi this whole time has kind of been like just going along with things. She's got her babies and she's like, we're gonna go along with it because I'm trusting these people. And this is the first time she's really kind of taking a stance of and taking initiative for herself and her kittens. But yeah, really good issue. The second arc has just been like doing some wild things. So if you haven't been reading, or maybe you stopped reading, whatever, go get this. The first trade's out. I think the second trade comes out before too long, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, worth it. Go get it. Trish, I'm happy you're in the chat. Congrats for making #1 on our list. It is well deserved. This book is a ton of fun, and I can't wait to see where you guys take it from here. So
same.
Oh, it's out tomorrow. Okay, I knew it was soon. I can remember when. So volume 2 for Feral is out tomorrow. If you haven't picked this up, just get volume 1, volume 2. You can thank us later. They're quick, especially that first volume. It's a pretty it's a fast read, not in a bad way. Like there's just so much going on.
It represents the type of story. It's like it's 28 days later, but with cats. And it's a very fast-paced story. These cats trying to survive out in the wild, and it's not going to be slow.
No, but and I will also add, in a world where we see so many writers deconstructing their characters and taking forever to do things, this is the opposite. Like there's so much story that's being packed into these first 10 issues that it's good work all around. Drew, that is going to wrap up the night for us. Oh, I forgot to show some interior art, but yeah, Starvation. Tastes like nothing. Yeah, love it. Drew, we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. We'll end the night by showing your video one more time, but before we get to that, is there anything, or where can people find you if they want to find you, and is there anything else you want to say before we close out?
You can find me on Facebook, Dolan Waddick. You can find me on Instagram, Dolan_Waddick. I'm always posting my art on different projects I'm working on.
and do check out. You're not going to miss out what's going to be coming down the pike from here through the summer. There's going to be a lot of stuff to be announced. A lot of stuff I cannot talk about yet still, which is pissing me off.
Yeah.
It's just because there's one artist in particular that we've been working with for the last couple of years, and he's going to be exploding with all the different work he's done soon. But just stay tuned, guys. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming.
So much stuff. I've gotten to the point where I just stopped talking about Drew stuff because I legitimately can't keep up with what's allowed to be discussed, what can't be discussed. So I'm just like, I will let him lead the way, and I will add comments into it because when he says there's so much, I can't even express. You have no idea how much there is. But I'm excited for him. I can't wait for more of his stuff to get out in everyone's hands. And if it's the artist I'm thinking of, a lot of black and white inks and works.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can't. I mean, look, I think there are two artists in particular right now that I've been like gaga over, and I just want their shit to get out there so I can be like, see, I told you guys. But all of your artists are really good, and these two I think I'm just bubbling over because I've been waiting literally a year, if not longer, to talk about. So I'm like, it's gonna come. But great.
And
stuff.
one of which for Naughty and Nice, I will talk about that because, like I said, I'm relaunching Naughty and Nice. It's gonna be a great ongoing series. The art we're doing for that, it's a bold risk.
It is a different look. I don't know how much you want to talk about it. If we can't talk,
it's not a typical American style.
Yes,
that's what I'm going to say.
That's where I was leaning, but again, I don't know how much we can and can't say. But no, follow Drew. Like, I'm gonna share as much as I can on the channel and then on socials when I can. But I've literally backed off to the point of like, you tell me what and when, and I will pull the trigger. But I'm legitimately excited, and I just don't want to say something I'm not supposed to say or overshare at the wrong time. So I'm purposely trying to stay quiet because I don't want to ruin anything for him. But I'm stoked. I've read a lot of the stuff. It's great. Again, a lot of the art for some of the stuff coming out is fantastic. And you're just going to get to see more of what Drew can bring to the table. So make sure you check out his works as they come out. Yes, and
I can't say.
I won't say no. No one's saying anything.
No one's saying anything.
This is why I don't do this shit, because I'm fucking stuff up already. Anyways, excited for you, Drew, and I think those pages look great, and I'm excited to see how people respond to them. As for us here, next week we'll have Culture Pops. At the end of the month, we're gonna have our Marvel book for the PBC Graphic Novel Club and our comic book club, I should say. But I'm gonna talk to some people because I've got some ideas. I haven't landed on anything yet. Marvel is a little hard to pick graphic novels for because I mean, when you think of Marvel and all the really good stuff, a lot of times it's runs. And but I've got three books in mind, and we're gonna kind of have a group discussion to land on which one we want to cover. But anyways, good stuff coming up. People wondering about Marvelous Monday. It went through its first phase of copyright issues and then got cleared and was cleared for like a week, if not a few days more than a week, and was going to drop. And literally the day before it was going to drop, I got a notice that is blocked in all countries because of music. And it's not even music from me. It's music in one of the scenes from X-Men. So I'm just like, all right. So it is still currently in a blocked status. I've just rescheduled it for April, and I'm praying that shit will be figured out before then. So apologies to y'all, because I know I keep lying of when it's going to come out, and then we have this stuff happen. So it's one of the challenges of making these movies, these discussions because I want to have the clips in there. I feel like it elevates our conversations and makes a better viewing experience for people that watch it. And the Marvelous Monday videos that I have, those are the things that people come back to long after they've posted. So for me, each month, they're typically in my top 10 viewed videos just because people coming back to view it. So
Nice.
worth it in the long run, but man, it's a pain in the butt to actually get up and get posted. So thank you guys as always for the support. Before we leave, we're going to watch this trailer one more time. Woo. So here is the world premiere trailer for Depths of Valor.
In an intriguing blend of history and suspense, we uncover a long-sunken Nazi U-boat off the coast of New Jersey. As experts race to uncover its secrets, an elderly man holds the key to a hidden past, his own life intertwined with this forgotten piece of history. What truths lie beneath the waves? And how will they reshape our understanding of World War II? Join us on a thrilling journey of discovery of the Depths of Valor. Created by Stephen Finkel, written by Dolan and illustrated by Nate Watson. Depths of Valor, only on Kickstarter.
Yeah, buddy. All right, we are going to call it a night. Once again, thank you all in the chat. You guys make the show fun. It's always fun to interact. Trish, it was so awesome having you here tonight, especially with your book being #1 for our list. But we hope you come back. Everyone come back, see us. If you haven't subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. And then after the live is over, go in the comments. Let us know what your favorite books are from the month. And if I'm wrong or if Drew's wrong, let us know. Should I have included Bug Wars? Let me know. And yeah, we'll see if I can fix myself next time. But until then, have a good night.
Bye.
Get the fuck